We're going to be lifting the legs and the chest off the ground. So we don't want to go bone on bone in the lumbar spine. So again, belly down postures where you're back bending. Tuck your tailbone under slightly. Take that small coccyx bone, that little tail at the base of the spine, bring it forward. This will engage your thighs and it will draw up on the pelvic floor slightly. Notice your two front hip bones and pubic bone and try to press those bony protrusions down into the roots of Mother Earth below the soil, tapping into the energy of the earth. You have yourself set. Press your palms down, feel your tricep heads and your elbow hinge. Do not bend the arms. On your next inhale, lift your legs and chest an inch off the ground and notice the stress you put on your low back. Okay, now rather than lift higher, let's inhale and try to get length. Okay? Rock side to side, explore the abdominal massage, and just let it be in beginner's mind for the moment. The brain has just identified where we're working in the low back, where we're strengthening.
Sits bone up off the ground, because if that's where your practice is right now, that's where it is. Honor that. Square off your hips so your hips are facing forward. I am going to get my left hip to my right heel. And then come down onto your forearms. And now here, let's rock side to side. We can open up our hips even more if we rock side to side before we come into the full expression of the posture. And for some of us, it's enough to be right here, because again, we're focused on our breath. We want to make sure we can have that full inhale and that full exhale. So now that we've just rocked side to side a little bit, curl the toes on the left leg and pull yourself back more. Sink down into that right hip. Now, if you want to go deeper, walk your hands away and rest your forehead down on the ground. Keep walking your hands away. Rock side to side here. Open that right hip a little more. Now I'm going to stay up on my forearm.
Good. To release out of the posture, let the forearms come down, let the elbows come down. Now we create structure. Now when you send this leg out, do so mindfully. Keep the breath flowing. Don't let your breath become jumpy or bouncy or holding the breath when we're doing movement. Linking breath and movement. This is the foundations of yoga. Good. Take a resting breath. Good. Now the next posture we're going to do, we're going to have a neutral spine. Happy baby. Draw your knees into your chest. Wrap your hands on the outside of the thighs and pull your knees wide. Gently rock side to side. Try to pull your elbows down in a way that opens your chest. Yeah, keep pulling the inner thighs, the adductors open. Good. Now, if this is as far as where you want to go today, that's fine. If not, take your hands inside your legs, tuck your chin, reach towards the feet, grab the arches. Now find the feet, unwind the spine, thoracic, cervical, occipital ridge, back of the skull, feet come to the ceiling. Now your knees are bent here now. Now you want to draw your shoulder blades back and down. This is really challenging. Get your sacrum flat. There shouldn't be any air on the base of the body. We shouldn't lift the sacrum up in an effort to pull the feet in more. We don't want to do that. We want to keep the structures of the sacrum, the oldest part of the spine, rooted. Now just notice what's here for you right now. For those of you who are athletic, whether it be fitness or competitive, this is really going to help you. Awaken the mind's eye to some of the major supporting muscles that we hardly ever bring our mind to. Okay, good. Now I want to open my shoulders and chest so I can access the full 3 chambers of my lungs. Now the hardest part to take breath into is underneath the shoulders. So what we want to do is we just want to take some gentle shoulder shrugs and just begin to warm up the shoulder girdle. It's 7 to 10 breaths. You're not counting the reps, you're counting the breaths, and you're trying to breathe as slowly as possible. See how it opens the pectoral incisions of the upper chest? It releases the muscles of the upper back and the scapula. It also warms up the tricep, the bicep, the gripping muscles of the hands. And I take my feet a little bit wider. Now I want to go into my strongest part of my body, my hips and my thighs. And I also want to begin to warm up the biceps. So I'm going to rotate my thumbs externally, my biceps immediately engage. I sink into a squat, let my tailbone move back so my hamstrings engage, and I let my arms press up against the outside of my legs, and I drop into a deep squat. There's going to be a lot of heat here. So what you're trying to do is slow your breath down and work against gravity, warming up the biceps and beginning to lubricate the hip girdle, the knee joint, the ankle, and you're focusing on ocean sounding breath.
So the principle of Ayurveda is like increases like. So if you're already cold and you go out into a cold climate and you drink some cold liquids and you eat some cold foods, you're obviously going to get colder. So in that same sense, then opposites balance. So these pairs of qualities that exist in the universe that are constantly balancing each other can be used to create balance in the body. So anytime we see a vata imbalance, we see too much coldness, dryness, lightness, roughness, then we know that the body needs the opposite. It needs heaviness, it needs smoothness, it needs warmth. One of the main ways that we treat vata imbalances is with warm oil, because it has exactly the opposite qualities of vata. So by applying this warm oil to the body, we're actually giving the opposite qualities the body most needs to find balance. In the same way, when the pitta dosha is imbalanced, there's too much fire. There might be inflammation, irritation, itching. So the heat of the excess pitta dosha can be cooled by taking in foods that are cooling, more liquids that are cooling, by doing practices or pranayama that are also cooling. And for the kapha dosha,
this has been one of the fascinating experiences for me, not being a doctor, of noticing how just by feeling someone's pulse, I could actually tell a lot of what's going on in someone, and I'm not feeling the rapidity of the pulse. You know, I'm not feeling the speed or the pacing. To some degree I am. I'm feeling more qualities again. I'm looking at the qualities that I'm feeling in their pulse. Is it sluggish? Is it peaking? Is it slow? Is it not there? I'm looking at qualities. So the way the pulse difference from Western diagnostics and from Ayurvedic pulse reading is that we're feeling more qualities again. So we're back to the qualities.